RAG is one of the hottest topics in AI right now, and as the name suggests, it is used to retrieve or search specific information from a large data set so that it can be passed on to an AI model or an LLM to give the answer to the user's question. But a limitation here is that the most powerful and the most popular RAG systems even today are only text-based. But we all can agree data is not just limited to text. It is a combination of text and images. And that is where visual RAG comes into play. Visual RAG enables AI to retrieve text as well as images as a part of context to better help the user. To give you an example, let's say you have a folder filled with images and now you want to search images. In that case, you can simply go to this AI model and you can tell it to find you the top 3 images that contain XYZ elements. Or else you could even pass an image and you could ask it to find similar images. Mind my words, visual RAG is going to be the next big thing in 2026. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can set up this visual RAG system from the start till the very end along with a very powerful use case. So if you're ready, let's get started. Now talking about the model that we're going to use. So one would typically use OpenAI's embedding model in a regular RAG system. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is only limited to text. It very conveniently ignores images and you lose context. And that is why we're going to use Jina AI's embedding model, which is good with both text as well as images. Now, this video is not sponsored by Jina AI. It's just that I have been working with it, experimenting with it. I found it cool and that's why I'm sharing it here. So I'll drop the link to this page in the description. And if you scroll here, you'll see that they're giving you an API key without you having to create an account. And on top of that, they're going to give you 10 million tokens for free. That's a lot and it is quite sufficient for learning as well as testing. So we'll come back to that just in a moment. After that, coming over to embeddings, here they have a model called Jina Clip V2, which is a multilingual, multi-model embeddings model for texts as well as images. So as you can see here, it works with text and images, it works with just text, it works with just images, and it also works with PDF. So coming back to text and images, you can pass on text, and since it is multilingual, it supports various languages. And coming to images, you can either give it the link to the image or you can give it the data for the image, which is in base 64 format. So you can basically call it the uploading process, and then for the query process, it is again the same. You can query it using text, images, or even a combination of both. Now I'm going to demonstrate both of these processes, uploading as well as querying on N8N, which is a no-code automation platform. And by the end of this video, we will also create a use case using those automations. Before we move forward, a quick introduction about myself. My name is Yashica. I'm the founder of Automates AI and we focus at automating business processes using AI. From operations to customer support, we help with everything. So if you're interested, then check out the link to our website in the description. Apart from that, I'm also an AI consultant. So if you'd like to get on a one-on-one call with me, then you can check out the link to my consultation calendar, which is linked in the description. If you'd like to see more such content in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you get a notification every time I post. And yes, this video has been sponsored by Hostinger. Now we can get right back into it. So just to give you a high-level overview of how the backend is going to look like. So this is the first automation on N8N, which is basically going to upload and embed images. So all we have to do is drop it inside a Google Drive folder. From there, it's going to be downloaded, it's going to be converted, and then it would be sent to Jina AI's API to create or generate embeddings. Then those embeddings would be stored inside Postgres. Then comes the second automation, which is for the actual search. So the user's query is going to be forwarded to Jina AI again to embed the query image, and that is then going to go back to Postgres for the vector search. Then the matched files would be downloaded and sent back as a response. Now this is not the only way of setting it up. There are many other ways through which you could upload and query, but based on the use case I would like to show you at the end, this is the workflow I have come up with. So now let me show you how you can create these automations for the backend step by step. If you've been using N8N for a long time, great, just log in and get started. If not, you can head over to the link in the description to self-host N8N in literally one click. So since Anyten is an open source platform, you can easily self-host it on your own machine. You can create unlimited workflows. You can run them as many times as you want and even concurrently. You can even access the community nodes and all of that without paying Anyten that monthly fee. So if you deploy Anyten on your own server, you're going to save on the costs, and on top of that, your data is going to be secure and private. Hostinger has very affordable plans for their VPS, where we are going to be self-hosting Anyten, and they also come up with 30 days money-back guarantee along with 24/7 support. So you'll find the link to this page in the description. Head over to this page, scroll down, then you will see the different VPS servers that are available, and I would recommend going with the KVM2 VPS. The reason being, it has the suitable configurations that we're looking for in order to self-host Anyten. Since their New Year's sale is live, you're gonna get up to 71% off, so don't miss on the deals. The other good thing is, if you go with their 24 months plan, you're gonna get 2 months for free. Alright, so once you're here, simply click on choose plan. And by the way, you can even compare this cost with Anyten's cloud cost and you'll see the difference. Alright, so here we are. Now here you can choose the time period. So as I said, if you go with 24 months, you're going to get the free domain with 2 extra months of free hosting. After that, you can select if you want your data backed up every single day. Then select the server location which is the closest to you. And for the operating system, simply select Anyten as the application so that it is very easy for us to install it on the VPS. Alright, so here's the order summary, 2 extra months added. Now since you're watching my video, you're gonna get some extra perks. So you can use the coupon code Yashica15 on the 24 months plan to get a flat 15% off on your cart value. There you go. And don't be sad if you're going with the 12 months plan, because you can use the coupon code Yashica to again get a 10% off. So you'll find the link to Hostinger along with the coupon codes in the description below. Don't forget to check them out. Now let me show you how you can go ahead and set it up within a few minutes. So once the purchase is completed, you will land right here. All you have to do is go to the VPS section. There you will see the KVM2 VPS we just now bought, and all you have to do is click on the setup button. Then select the server location which is the closest to you and click on next. Then we have to choose an operating system. So I'm just going to search for Anyten and I will select the first option. Let's click on select. Then you have to create a root password which you will use to log in into your VPS. So just create a password and make sure to store it somewhere. Make sure this is checked and click on finish. Okay, so it has been completed, and now let's click on manage VPS. And as you can see, our server is live. Let's click on manage app now. And there you go, we can set up our account and get started. So create an account and then you will land directly onto your Anyten dashboard. Basically, your self-hosted Anyten dashboard. So now let's create the very first automation, which is for the uploading part. So you drop it in Google Drive and then that gets uploaded to your vector database as embeddings. So let's create a new workflow. Obviously, the first thing is going to be Google Drive. It's going to serve as the trigger. And the trigger is going to be on changes involving a specific folder. So we're going to basically maintain a folder where we will be dropping these files. So just make sure to connect your Google Drive account and then select a folder. Maybe you can create a new one and then select it right here. So this is my folder. I've selected it and then we're going to watch for the files created. And then for the sake of testing, just drop one of the images in there and click on fetch test event. If it is able to fetch that image inside Anyten, then that's great. You have set up your trigger correctly. So next up, we need to download it. So again, search for Google Drive and select download a file. We're downloading it so that we can access it within Anyten. For the file option, select by ID. So basically, we have to tell it which file we would like to download. And then from the search bar here, search for ID. And there we go. This is the ID. And just drag and drop it here. So now whichever file it finds in the previous trigger, it's going to download. And let's quickly test it. And there we go. As you can see, this is the file name. It's a JPG and an image, obviously. And this is the file size. You can even view it if you would like. Now, right now, it is an image. But in order to pass it to Jina AI, we need to convert it in the form of base 64 data. So just search for extract here and select the last option, which is move file to base 64 string. Make sure the name here, which is data, is again the same under the input binary field so that it correctly pulls up the file. And then for the destination, data is fine again and you can execute it. Now as you can see, it has now been converted into base 64 string that we can use further. Now comes the interesting part, which is sending an API call or an HTTP request to Jina AI, which is going to basically take this and convert it into embeddings. So for that, we're first going to search for Jina AI. As you can see, they have the integration, but then they don't really have the action that we are looking for. But still, you can just choose any of them for now. After that, click on Create New Credential. And remember, I showed you that they're giving us API keys with 10 million tokens for free. So all you have to do is just copy it. Now, they're not asking us to create an account or connect our credit card, which is actually great. And then all you have to do is just paste it here, save it, and Jina AI has been connected to Anytime. But the job doesn't stop here because we are now going to delete this. Now, you would think that if you just had to delete it, why did you add it in the first place? So I added it so that I can add my API keys and make a connection between the two. Hope that makes sense. So now we're going to search for HTTP request and we are basically going to make an API call to Jina clip v2 for embeddings. So this is going to be the URL. The method is going to be post. Now don't worry, anything that I copy paste here, I'll make sure to also paste it in the resources that you can easily access. So it's going to be like a document from where you can also copy paste it, just like I'm doing. But if you're okay with copy pasting it from here, then that's also an option. Next up are the headers. So just click on Send Headers. Add the first header, which is content type, and the value is application JSON. You can just follow along even if you don't understand APIs very well. The next one is authorization, but we don't really need it. So what you can do is you can just head back to authentication, select predefined, and then search for Jina AI. And there you go. It's showing the account we just now connected. Now let's send the body. So this is going to be in the form of JSON using JSON. And I'm not going to copy it like from here because I don't really need it in this format. Instead, I'm going to use this format, which is nothing else but giving the name of the model, which is Jina clip v2, and the input as the image, which is sourcing back to this data right here. And again, you can copy it from the resources link in the description. So as you can see here under result, the model is this and the input is this long base 64 string, which is nothing else but our image. Now if you go ahead and run this, you will see the embeddings. Now these are the embeddings it generated for the image that we uploaded. Quite a lot, right? I mean, almost 1023. These embeddings are nothing else but numbers, or you can also think of them as coordinates. And the logic here is that the ones similar in meaning are stored closer, and the ones different in meaning are far away from each other. And that is how AI basically distinguishes that I need my refund and give my money back are the same things because they're closer to each other. If you want, you can rename this to Jina AI. Create embeddings. Alright, so embeddings generated for the images, which is a great win because if you use the regular ones out there, you can't really do that. Let's save this. Now the next thing we have to do is store these embeddings in a vector database so that at the time of the query, it can easily look into it and retrieve it. Now for the vector database, we are going to use Postgres. So simply select execute a SQL query. So now we need to connect our Postgres database with Anytime. So let's create a new credential. Now if you already have it self-hosted because it is an open source platform, then you can go ahead and add in your credentials. If not, then you can create a free account on superbase.com. So Superbase is basically a wrapper on top of Postgres. So on top you're seeing Superbase, but under the hood, it is Postgres. So I'll put the link to this platform in the description. You can go ahead and create a free account with them. Now wait, I have an example. So Postgres is the engine and Superbase is the car. And without the engine, the car cannot function, but the car has other components to it apart from the engine. Anyways, so you can just create a new project. Let me call it visual rank 2. Then set up a database password, but please remember it, we will need it during the connection. Alright, so it's copied and then create new project. After that, head over to the project settings, click on connect. Instead of direct connection, select transaction pooler, click on view parameters, and now these are the details that we have to add back inside Anytime. So the first thing you should do is add your password, the one we just now created, just paste it here. Then let's start with the host, which is this one. Next up, the database is Postgres. The user is this one. The port is this. That goes right here. And that's it. Let's click on save. And if you see connection tested successfully, then that means it has been connected. Okay, so now here what we're going to do is we're basically going to write a SQL query that is going to add all of these to our database table. But before that, obviously, we need to first create a table inside our database so that we can add these to it. So let's close this. Go to SQL editor here. Now we will be pasting a couple of queries here, basically SQL queries. You'll find all of them in the resources. Again, link in the description. So this is the first one and run. It was basically to enable the vector extension. Then we're going to create the table, which is going to have the following columns. It's ID, content, content type, metadata, the embedding, and the timestamp. So let's run it again. And that's a success, meaning our table has been created. Last but not the least, we are going to basically create an index for fast querying. And let's run it. Success. So now if you go to your database, you will find your table right here. And there we go. We have all the columns. Now all we have to do is add the data to this table. And for that, we need to write an insert into query, which is going to insert the data. Don't worry, I have done the heavy lifting for you. So you can copy this again from the resources. And then we just have to remap these red ones and then we should be good. So the first thing is the ID of the file. So I'm just going to search for ID here. And then within the download file node, I found the ID right here. So if you want, you can just get rid of this and then drag and drop the ID in between. And as you can see under the result, it is mapped successfully. Next up is the file ID, the same process. But as you can see, the only problem why this is not green is because these names don't match. So if I just correct the name here, it becomes green. And similarly, let me do it for all of them. And there we go. And then this is the one that is basically joining the embeddings and pushing it through. So in the result, you can clearly see that these are the values that we are passing and these are the embeddings. So now let's click on execute step. If you see success, then congratulations. Let's go back to Superbase and on refreshing, I can see it right here. The content is the file ID here because then later on I would like to, fetch it back. Then this is the metadata that is coming from Google Drive and a few more informations like the MIME type, etc. And then comes the final embedding. And lastly, the timestamp. So with this, the uploading workflow has been completed. If you want, you can rename it. So let's call it Visual Rag Upload and save. And let's also publish it so that every time you add an image inside your Google Drive folder, the one you have mentioned here, it gets uploaded over. I'm going to be focusing on images for this entire tutorial as compared to PDF or anything else because of the use case that I'm chasing. So now this is my folder. I'm pretty sure you're going to have one image here that you must have uploaded for testing. You can delete that. That has been already uploaded. Now let's add another image. Okay, there we go. This is the image that I've uploaded. And if I go back to my automations executions, I can see that it ran. So the whole process was completed. And if you want to confirm, you can just match the file name right here. And again, in Superbase as well, you will find another row for another image. So just to summarize, if you upload it here, it lands inside the vector database. So the visual rag uploading automation is done. And now it's time to set up the one which is going to query it. The part we're all excited for. So let's add another workflow. So to start with, I'm going to add a webhook trigger. Or you know what, let's just go with trigger manually for now. So let me add a manual trigger. We're going to talk more about the triggers that you can have here just in a moment. And now let's set up the HTTP request back to Jina AI for the query. Now, if you want, what you can do is you can just copy the HTTP request from our previous automation. So Command C, come back and just paste it here because most of the work is done. We just have to change a few things. You can just rename it to query. And then here, all we have to do is change the body. And this is the body that we are going to use. So the model remains the same. The task this time is retrieval.query. And for the input, we have our query. Now this can be a text query or an image query. So just to give you an example, a text query is find me 5 interior design examples for, let's say, a living room with dark gray vibes, for example. And an image query is that you send an image and you expect it to find similar images. And this query is going to be passed on by the front end. So again, you can copy it from the resources. For the time being, I'm just going to remove this json.query. I'm going to add quotation marks and I'm going to type a query. So let me see. The image I uploaded was indeed a living room interior design. Alright, so I've written that I need interior design inspiration for my living room. I'm going for gray vibes, okay? So now if I execute this, it's going to find me embeddings again. And guess the next step. We are going to run another Postgres query, which is going to basically perform a vector search. So this is the query I'm going with. Now this is the embeddings that we got from the previous module. The limit set here is 5. And now if I execute it, and let's go to table, it found me 3 different files. Now the reason why it's 3 is because I had uploaded 2 previously for testing. So that's why it's a total of 3. And if you see here, these are the similarity scores. So it's basically saying that this file, which is modern_3.jpg, is your living room inspiration with gray vibes. So in the next step, if I just download this particular Google Drive file, so let's select by ID, and this is the ID, the one that says content. And if I execute, and if I click on view, I can see that image. Now it's showing the same file twice because I had added them twice for testing. And it basically found that both of these are very similar to my request. So it returned both of them. So let's take a step back and let's understand one more time. So I told it that I need interior design inspiration for my living room. I am going for gray vibes. It got me the embeddings for my query. Then we did a vector search with Postgres, which then returned that this is the file which is matching your requirement. And when I downloaded it, indeed, it was matching it. Now you might think that, okay, we just have 3 images and it chose from them. What if we have many? So let's try adding more to it. Before that, let's just rename this as vector search. And this one remains the same. Let's call it visual rag search or query, whichever you feel like, you can add it. And now let me drop more files here. Now, one issue that is coming with this free API key is that they're only allowing 2 concurrent requests. So you basically have to wait. You can't send like 50 images in one go, or else it throws an error. So let's go ahead and solve this problem as well so that we can still drop 50 files at once and then the automation takes care of the rest. Alright, so here's the uploading automation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a loop node right here after the trigger, which is going to basically loop over items or basically split it in batches. So let's say 50 images are splitted, okay? The batch size is going to be 2 because it is taking 2 requests at once. And just delete both of these connections, delete this extra node. So now you have 2 of these. Make sure the loop one is connected here. And for done, we don't want to add any node because we don't care. So now it's going to split those 50 into batches of 2 and it's going to loop. So in this case, it's going to loop 25 times. But the other thing is that it also needs a delay. Okay, so you can't send those 25 requests in, let's say, 2-3 minutes. You have to wait. So to solve that, we are going to add a wait node at the end of the automation. So as soon as 2 of these images are like processed with Jina AI, it should wait for at least 1 minute before moving on to the next one. So let's save that. So it's going to get so many images from Google Drive. It's going to split them in batches of 2. Then it's going to take one batch. It's going to wait for a minute, and this loop continues. And since it's all running at the backend and you don't have to do anything, so I don't think this is going to be a problem. You just have to drop your files inside Google Drive and just forget it. Just wait for some time before you query it. Once done, let's publish. And yes, one more thing we have to do is connect wait back to loop so that it's like an actual loop. And let's publish this. Now let me add a couple of files together and let's see how this works. So I uploaded a total of 10 files and it is running right now. So let's wait and let's see. Alright, so it ran for a total of 5 minutes and it uploaded my 10 images without giving me those errors that you can't send so many requests because of the batching. So now I have a couple of files in there, as you can see. So now let me ask it for like bathroom inspirations. So let me change the query here. So I need interior design inspiration for my bathroom. I'm going for light vibes. And let's save that. And let me run the whole thing now. Okay, so it found me 5 images. So let's see. This was the first one. Yep, matches. Then the second one, great. Then the third one, okay. Fourth, yeah, I think they were duplicate. Okay, it must have been while I was uploading. And the fifth, see, all of them bathroom ones. It didn't give living room or exterior images here, though I had it inside my folder. For example, if you see this, it didn't choose these. It chose the correct ones. So that is exactly what a visual RAG is. Now the story doesn't stop here because the uploading part is complete, but the querying part is not that complete, right? We're just manually changing our inputs here and then, asking it to give us the results, which is not what we want. We want to use it in the real world. And by the way, it is not just limited to text. You can also pass on images, etc., which we're again going to see just in a moment once the use case is done. So coming to use cases. So what we have built so far are just 2 pieces of the puzzle. And now it's up to you where and how you use these 2 puzzles. If you want, you can plug it inside an AI agent. Or else you could also use it as a backend to a beautiful front-end web app. You can also use it within mobile applications and basically anywhere where you can send a webhook request to this particular automation and get the response. So let's take an example. You have an e-commerce website. You have a whole database of images of your products, of different variations, etc. And now on your website, you would like to have this fancy AI agent or this fancy UI where people can type in their requests or maybe upload images to other dresses or other similar products, and then they can find the correct products along with the links using that particular UI. Or the other example that we're taking here. In this case, they have this whole database of images of interior as well as exterior designs that they might have done or that they always look up to for inspirations. And instead of just scrolling and finding them, they can easily type in their request, or they can also send images to find similar styles and inspirations. So now let's get rid of this. Let's add a webhook trigger. So webhook is basically, it's going to give you a URL that your external app can easily call to run this automation and get the response back. Let's get it here. And the webhook is not a get, instead it is a post, and the response is using the respond to webhook node. Let's connect it here. And at the end comes the webhook response. Just select first incoming items, which are these images. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create a beautiful front end, which is going to be used to look into this database of images. Now I know I have very less images, so let me upload more in the meantime. And now let's head over to Google's antigravity to create our front end without writing a single line of code. And as we all know, it is free to use. Alright, so here I am on antigravity and I'm going to use it to like vibe code the front end. The idea is simple. It's going to be a split screen. On the left, there's going to be inputs like text, images, drop downs, etc. And on the right, it's going to show the fetched images. It's going to use anything as the backend. So what we have already created, it's going to call that using an HTTP request. Now, I've already created a full detailed tutorial on anti-gravity. I'm going to link it somewhere above here, so if you're interested in learning it, you can give that a watch. And this is the prompt that I'm going to use to give it the instructions about what I'd like to get created. So create an ultra elegant split screen design reference finder with sophisticated editorial aesthetics. And we've told it about the left panel, the right panel, what's the color palette, the buttons, the webhook integration, everything. You're going to find this prompt in the resources link in the description. And let's send it over. Okay, so it came back with the first prototype. Now, obviously, I didn't give it the webhook, so I don't know how it used this one and it just made it up, but never mind, that's all fine. Let's have a look at the design first. Okay, so this is how the design looks like. Pretty clean. So style finder, search by image, text or both. What are you looking for? So here you can like add text, then this is for uploading images. Then here we can select the design style. Then here we can select the atmosphere, the room type, and then finally the color scheme. Now, I'm not creating this as a customer facing web app, instead something that these teams would use internally. So they would generally have a database of these images and they can easily, use it. They can share it with their team members, interns, etc. Okay, so I mean the hover effect, all of these effects, I like that. But obviously this is not functional at the moment because we haven't added the webhook. So let's go ahead and do that. And also in the vector search, let's change the limit to like 6 or maybe 8 instead of 5. And let's save that. Let's publish that. Alright, so just copy the production URL. And after that, go to the next module, which is Jina AI query, and remove this query along with the quotation marks. Add a $sign, select JSON, and then type in query. Okay, because this is what the system is going to send us. And let's save that and let's publish it finally. Let's ask anti-gravity to use this webhook. Alright, so it's saying that it has updated it, but then it's saying that you may need to restart the, run dev command. So let me ask it to do that. So I've told it to restart on my behalf. Okay, so now let me go back to the app. Let me start with a fairly simple text query. And let's select modern here. Atmosphere is luxurious. Room type is interior. Actually, the living room. And the scheme could be, I don't know, earthy maybe? And let me search. Okay, so we're getting an error. So let me copy this. Let me click on issue here. And let me take a screenshot of this. And just before I send it, let me check the execution history of anything. Okay, so we got an error here. So it's saying invalid value. Okay, so it seems that the input was not mapped correctly. So let's go back to the module. And instead of just JSON dot query, we're going to put it as JSON dot body dot query. Let's save that, publish. Let me click on try again. So this time let's take another query. So I just said modern kitchen inspo, that's it. And it seems like it is searching. And if I go back to Anyton here, it is running in the background. And Anyton was a success. So inside Jina.ai, hopefully the input was given. Yes, it was. All right. And back in the app, it showed me this. So let me tell it that we are not getting the image rendered properly. And I can just get rid of this previous error message that I was sending it because I think I fixed it myself. So let's say the image is not rendering. And let me also share the respond to webhook's actual response with it so that it knows the structure. And one more problem, we haven't added an aggregator here. So let me just add an aggregator real quick. And for the field name, let's take ID. And let me change it to all incoming items. Save and publish. Let me run this one more time. And it is running. So I basically want to send the final response to anti-gravity so that it can make sure the images are getting rendered properly. Okay, so it was a success again. So this is the respond to webhook node. Oh, did I just map the IDs? Sorry, so I'll have to change it to content. So let me do this. I'm going to add and extract from file node here. So move file to base 64 and this looks good. And then here I'm going to just change it to data and that's it. Let me try now. Okay, it's running again. And now let me check the response here. Yes, this is exactly what I wanted. So now I can just go to JSON and I can like copy the output, send it to antigravity and ask it to handle it correctly. So I said that the image is not rendering properly, the anytime automation ran successfully, please fix it. Here's the respond to webhook nodes JSON output. So it's saying it has been fixed. Let's see. So let's say modern kitchen aesthetics, modern luxurious kitchen, neutral, search. And there we go, we got the images. Okay, so I mean, yeah, it's a little blurred because my images were initially like very small. You must have seen, like for example, this. So one thing is I'm not able to scroll, so let's fix that. And the other thing is I would want the ability to click on them and view them as like a full image on a full screen. And let me also add the functionality of being able to download them. So I've told it that I'm not able to scroll vertically on the right pane, and when I click on the images, they should expand into full screen and it should give me an option to download the image. So since it has been done, let's see. This time let me ask it for office designs with subtle vibes, and let's again go with modern. We could also do minimalist. The vibe should be sophisticated and the room is office. And the color could be like cool. Let's see. There we go. And we're able to scroll. That's a good thing. And then we have this horizontal scroll as well. That is even better. So this is the first match it came up with. And then I can see the full screen. I mean the full image and I can download it. Great. Style finder. Okay. And the reason why it's blurry is, I've already told you, it's because of my images. And then we have this one. Yep, this is also office design. I'm very keen to try bathroom ones because I have a lot of images for bathroom, let's see. And neutral, okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. So that's the first one. That is the second one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Now let me also try images. So let me say find me a similar design. And let me go with this particular image. And this is not in the database, okay? So let's add it here. These remain the same and search. Okay, so we have an error. Let's see. Unexpected end of JSON input. Let's take a screenshot. So I've told it when I added an image as reference, I got this error, please resolve. Alright, so let's try one more time. Okay, this time again we have another error. Let me just copy it and let's send it. Okay, so I just saw N10 and it seems like Jina AI is returning an error. So input text exceeds the model's maximum tokens. So use truncate true to automatically truncate or split into smaller chunks. To be honest, the query that it is giving is also not correct. So if you go to table here and so it's first adding the text, then it's adding the image. That's not how it works. So let me correct it. So the query that you're sending for text and images is wrong. Yeah, so I'm telling it that the query that you're sending for text plus images is wrong. It should be this way. First we have the text, then we have the query, and then we have your JSON. Okay, so let me send that over. Okay, now let's try one more time. Okay, again the same issue. Let's check anytime. So it's saying that it's a fields error. Okay, let's see. So this time the body that it gave, wait, let me see it here. So the output became null. Okay. And that is probably because, yeah, it parsed them as images and text. Okay. So I think what we can do is we can just simply remove query from here so that the body is being sent over, which like then consists of the JSON that we're looking for. So let's remove body. Sorry, not body. We have to remove query. Okay. And publish. But then we'll also have to tell antigravity that, yeah, so for just text, you send it this way. Okay, so text nested. And for just image, you send it this way. And for both, you send it this way, the one that it's doing already. So that inside N8N, we are able to send it over correctly. Now, I know it might not make sense to a lot of you, but it's just a JSON thing. It's just a formatting thing that we have to do to achieve the results. So let's send it. Okay, so now I have a feeling it should work. So let's send it. And it's not. Same error. But to be honest, this time we had sent it correctly. No, wait. It still has one issue. So it basically created body 0 and body 1. So basically it added these square brackets that messed up what we were trying to do. So let me ask it, can you not send it without the square brackets? Okay, wait. Now this is also not correct. Let me just correct it. So we need 2 of these here, 2 of these there, and again 2 of these here. So now it has again switched back to square. I mean, can it not just listen to the formats that I want regardless of the rules? You know what, let me try. And it worked. Great. Let's quickly check N8N. I'm just gonna refresh. Yep, and it worked. Yeah, so it went that way. Oh, I think, yeah, I was just putting extra brackets inside, before and after text, and I could have just used a comma instead. Yeah, my bad. I mean, after recording for so long, anyone's gonna hallucinate. So, yeah, this is what it came up with. So this is the image I had given it. I'm not sure if you can see. It's this one. And this is the one it thinks is similar, and I think they are actually. And this is the other one. In terms of the colors and the style, for sure. Great. So this was a text plus an image query. The other thing I was thinking was I would not like to make this as the spotlight because then it's getting blurred while these ones are not. So I'd rather have them as the same size. So let me try telling it that don't make the first match as the spotlight, keep all the images of the same size. Alright, let's see the change. So search styles. Yep, much better, at least not blurry. Alright, that works. So with that, we have seen how you can create a visual rank system from the start till the very end without coding. And then we have also seen a real world use case. We even made a front end, again, without coding. So I hope this video was filled with value and you were able to learn new things. If that was the case, don't forget to like the video and do drop a valuable comment. If you want to see more content like this, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn the bell icon notification on. If you want to work with me, then you will find the link to our website in the description. If you'd like to get on a one-on-one call, then again, the link to the consultation calendar is in the description. You'll find the link to the resources in the description where you'll find everything I copy-pasted throughout the video. If there's any specific video you'd like to see in the future, do let me know. And yes, you'll find the link to hosting us VPS along with the coupon codes in the description. If you'd like to connect with me personally, do send me a connection request on LinkedIn. You'll find the link to it in the description. Alright, so yeah, that was pretty much it. I will meet you in the next video. Till then, bye!